We have such sights to show you.
Hello and welcome to the final podcast, the last podcast you will ever listen to.
Welcome, final bros. We're here. It's spooky season. We are here. It's Brian Hopper LaGrasta and Shane Barnacle Smith. That's right. Also joined by Scott the Hitman Huckies, Huckenberg, Scotty Tish. Bunch of nicknames for you.
Kind of like Huckenberg.
Huckman.
Huckenberg's that's a solid nickname, Huckenberg.
You can make that work.
That was an early one I had,
Yeah, I like that one. You know what I don't like? That's the end of spooky season. This is the last episode of October. This is it. And you know how we've been doing nothing but sequels? Well, guess what? We're going to start a very long series from the beginning. We're doing Hellraiser, boys. Strap in, because there's 11 of them.
Yeah.
Just watched all 11.
Did you really?
Yeah. It was great. I had such a great time.
Yep. Well, we will not be doing all of them on this show. So we will be...
Eventually.
No. We mean we're going to pivot some of them to Final Friday.
We'll do the first 6, which I think the first 6 are like more high budget. Then they tank and go low budget. We'll do the rest. And then the remake? Is it a remake?
It's a reimagining.
Yes.
I guess.
A reboot.
Yeah, we will bring back to Final Pod. Mm-hmm. That makes the most sense.
The newest one.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes
because
sense.
7, 8, 9, and 10 do not really deserve to be.
2 of them came out in the same year.
7 and 8 came out the same exact year.
That's kind of wild, actually.
They're pretty horrible. You can skip like the first 3 minutes of this, by the way.
Also, 9 was made strictly so the studio could keep the rights to Pinhead.
That sounds
And
right.
the movie was made in 22 days or something like that.
So Pinhead was I was Pinhead in my 3rd grade. Remember, like from our
What?
was it our final chapter Friday the 13th video where Corey Feldman's character had all the masks?
Yes.
Pinhead was one of the masks I bought from Party Box. It was my 3rd grade costume.
Did you
the first
know?
mask my mom got me from Party Box.
Did you know who what Pinhead
I knew
was?
of Hellraiser. I didn't see it at the time.
Okay. 'Cause 3rd grade's pretty wild.
I'm happy I didn't. This movie's kind of fucking gory.
Yeah.
As a kid, even though I did watch horror movies as a kid. But this is a long time coming. I feel like this is a real classic movie. I think that it's a movie that probably deserves to be watched more than once. I think there's a lot going on off screen in this one. Like I even did some research and I'm like, whoa, that's something I didn't pick up on. But I think this movie's a lot of fun. I have a couple of people at work that like I know this is their favorite horror movie.
Wow.
Yeah, it's just it's a good flick. It's very interesting, and I can't wait to talk about the concept. The cool thing is like Pinhead, who's like the key Cenobite. Essentially, Cenobite's like another name for a demon. Let's just be honest, it's a demon from hell.
Yep.
But Pinhead, I don't even think he's credited as Pinhead in this movie.
Lead Cenobite.
He's credited as lead Cenobite. Like he doesn't really gain fame until the later movies. But they're all like super creepy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's talk about 2 things. First, is this the easiest puzzle box of all time?
Yes.
And second, are these designs of the Cenobites some of the coolest villain designs in movies?
And that's why I feel like they didn't really go into detail with each one. One chatters, one has pins on his head. The scariest one to me is the woman.
The woman is terrifying.
With the rings through her mouth. I can't wait to get more into the lore that I read, which I'm going to just throw out the disclaimer of alleged, but it makes sense about why they use this theme of like chains and bonding and like it's very, very clear.
That's a giant dildo.
I will say this forever. I love the flesh pillar.
The flesh pillar is great.
Flesh
It
pillar,
gets better.
It does.
Yeah.
The flesh pillar in like the 3rd one, where there's actually just like faces coming out of the flesh pillar. It's awesome.
I mean, I guess I'll get into it right now. Like, there's a lot of chains. There's a lot of like, even the Cenobites or the demons, they all look like they're into like dominatrix. Like I said, because I read somewhere that Clive Barker was into this. He was into BDSM. He would frequent like these types of unions, these establishments.
Yeah, we'll call them establishments.
I read somewhere that he potentially may be gay and like was into this stuff, and he used the elements in here, especially like when you're opening up like essentially, I don't know, this is what I was reading, going down the rabbit hole of Hellraiser, but like the whole idea of like opening the box is like you're in the 80s when this was made and post all those slasher movies that like you get pleasure and pain, so it's like a metaphor for like having gay sex and getting AIDS.
Oh my God. So you were going down the deep rabbit
Yeah, like
hole.
you open up the box because like you're taking the chance of getting the big AIDS. Again, what I read can't confirm it.
Right.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, everyone has their theories on different things. That's an interesting one. Some of it I kind of get because they are literally wearing like black, like those black tight gimp suits almost.
Yeah.
There's no doubt about it. If you think about it, all of these guys look like all the demons. They're in like chains and like this weird like black goth garb.
They're either like a BDSM sex club or like a really black metal band from the 80s.
It's true. It's true.
It's one or the other.
Yeah.
Is this, quick question, so is this supposed to be like Frank did that and immediately they showed up? Because the way the camera, it just worked its way down the house, like as if it was one.
I think that's just the transition.
Okay.
Yeah. I think the idea is, so Frank had done that with the puzzle box and he has been in the, like, absorbed into the house for months.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
like I think that and that's another thing that's misleading in the movie, that they just show it so quick that he opens up the box and then he's getting like the change. But the idea is there's a period of time where he's experiencing both pain and pleasure, inexplicably both.
Yeah.
That's the thing that he said, like you're gonna get both and it will be at times indivisible. And he is obviously brought into hell, and then you find out like he escapes.
Yeah.
Which wasn't supposed to happen.
Definitely not. They were not happy about it either. Another thing I want to talk about with the Cenobites is just like how you were saying the designs of them are really cool. It's interesting when you start to learn how they became the Cenobites. Like,
Yes.
Over time, you're going to learn. Like, some of those Cenobites, and I won't spoil which, or like you find out like one's a child, like was a child and then transformed into the Cenobite. And it's just like, it's very interesting the depths like they go into this. But
One more thing that's interesting, we'll get into it later. It seems like there's a point in time where Pinhead's character doesn't even know that he escaped from hell.
yeah.
And I was just like, it must be so big, and they must have so like he didn't even know he was gone.
Well, because the thing is, and I'm almost positive, Pinhead's not like the leader of hell. He's just
He's the lead Cenobite.
he's just the lead Cenobite.
Yeah.
He's just one of them. Like he doesn't keep track of everything. So.
The only time that really even comes up is in like the 8th movie or something with the girl who's like on God's side or whatever. You know what I'm talking about?
I actually think that's the 10th one.
10th, yeah, sure,
It's
whatever.
crazy.
One of the not first 6.
Yeah, no, there's a lot going on, and there's only one way to discuss it. In the spooky pit.
Hellraiser, released in 1987. A woman living in a new house discovers the partial remains of her brother-in-law. She decides to lure men back for him to soak in their blood in the hopes of bringing his hot body back to life in an effort to escape the demons that have been after him. So it's interesting because, like, Frank's, like, super fucking dead. Like, so, like, he attempts to escape from hell or something, is absolutely destroyed. His remains are brought into the depths of the house, and then we'll find out that the blood of a sibling brings him back.
And we're going to learn there's like a lot going on with Frank where it's like he's kind of, you know, he's a bad guy, but then you really learn he's the worst person of all time because he's been sleeping with his brother's wife for forever.
No, he's a bad dude.
I got to throw it out there. She is not good looking enough for all of this to be going on. It sounds rude, but
yeah. I mean, like, she's no prize fighter. She's no, she's not exactly a 10.
No.
I'm not going to call her ugly.
no, she's not.
Yeah.
But like her thing is like she's bringing back pretty much any guy she sees back to the pad.
But
She
they
knows
do-
it's like she knows she's not going to have a problem bringing anybody back without even any
This
effort.
is
But
like
what also works out is the movie does a good job of portraying everyone she brings back just looks like a schlub.
yeah, she's bringing back like
Riff raff.
That one guy was absolutely insane that she brought back. He was just like, when she was like talking to him, and he was like, all right, just fucking stop. Like, what are we doing? Like, are we gonna fucking do this or not?
Yeah.
Like,
his pants are already off.
Come on, my pants are off. Like, fuck me. Come on.
Is it the first guy or?
Yeah, his guy's got like the yellow teeth and like.
Shane, describe the things you would do to Kirsty.
Kirsty? Take her out on a nice seafood dinner. Maybe go see a movie after. She seems like a lovely person.
Okay. Do you like how she's cutting out? Forgot her name already. Julie.
Julia.
She's cutting out the pictures of everybody that's not. She's obsessed with Frank.
Yes.
Oh, is that what she's doing? I thought she was just taking the pictures of her. I thought there were pictures of her in there. I just kind of like half paid attention to that part.
Oh, maybe. I don't know. I think
you're right.
I don't
though.
think she had much of a relationship besides a one night stand.
I think it was
she
just the
literally
one.
said, "No matter what happens, I would do absolutely anything for you." And that was that word was a fucking bond, apparently.
Yeah. Yo. So Frank
See what you did there.
has this sexual magnetism to him where like women just will do anything for this man.
He's such a cocksucker the first time they meet too.
Oh, he's a horrible human.
He's a horrible human. Their marriage is fucking dead, though.
Yeah.
He is way too good for her.
Oh,
like
Larry?
he is a salt of the earth.
He's a nice guy. Yeah.
Also, like, kind of a pushover though.
Yeah.
Where
Yeah.
he's just getting beer for the workers who are clearly hitting on his wife and daughter.
Yeah. I would have thrown them out immediately.
Yeah, like when they're like asking about Kirsty, even he's like, "That's my daughter.
Yeah.
Let me get you a beer."
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, that creep. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like got your
mother's
looks. Her mother's dead. Like that was a great. I'm glad that they set that up because that was such a great comeback.
That was a good line. You'd be like, so trying to fuck? Or?
Yeah.
So Kirsty, let's actually talk about her. Where would you rank her in the horror movie girls? Like there's
Very
Kirsty,
good.
there's Nancy from Friday. From Friday. And like
Very good. She does a really good job.
I think so too.
Yeah.
Very good job.
Because they say and introducing her. So is this like her first role?
I think so. Yeah, she does a really good job in like for a final girl on a first go around. I love like how why are like moving guys like just like the absolute worst? Like,
Creeps.
I
feel like
This is why you always hire your friends.
I would say like, is it just a stereotype in movies or like what's the deal?
I
And why is
guess.
she dressed up like a pirate?
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's the thing. In like all these like 80s movies, it was just a different time. We weren't alive. But it just seems like if you hired a mover, a painter, or a plumber, they were going to hit on your wife.
Isn't it the same thing in like Poltergeist? Like, don't they hit on the girl?
Yeah. Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, look at even Leprechaun. That one painter instantly hits on Jennifer Aniston. Yeah, it's Jennifer Aniston, but it just keeps the stereotype going.
I just
They're
got all
gonna
those.
hit on you.
Just got all those on DVD, so that's in the works.
Well, you
I'll
got the
watch those.
Leprechauns on DVD?
It was just part of a lot of DVDs, and those were 5 of them.
I haven't been so happy.
And one of the DVDs was like there's like 3 in the hoods.
Yeah.
And they're all on one
Yeah.
disc.
I will be honest, I am super excited to be reviewing Leprechaun next year when we do the third one because it's my favorite one.
Yeah.
And I'm also excited if we do Leprechaun the following year for 4 because that is absolutely the worst one.
Yes.
And potentially one of the worst movies ever made.
Ooh, I'm excited.
There
for
is
that.
no doubt in my mind we are definitely doing the 4th one, and we're going to definitely do it on Final Pod.
Yeah,
It doesn't
no.
deserve it, but it also kind of just needs to be on Final Pod.
There's probably a few.
It's so bad.
Are the other ones really low budget afterwards? Some of those
So
might not be.
they're really. I actually don't think there's a Leprechaun to do on Final Friday.
Yeah, I
'Cause
agree.
I think even the Back to the Hoods were.
They had notable actors
good?
in them. Yeah, I agree.
Oh.
Yeah, that's
Some people actually
Not, like,
say.
good, but-
Say the Back to the Hoods are the best of the Leprechaun series.
I think someone. I think I posted on Instagram that I got like the DVDs. And I think someone actually agreed. Like in the hood, at least the first.
The First
one.
in the Hood is apparently the best of the whole Leprechaun series.
Wow.
I actually just recently this is going super off track, but
Yeah.
I just recently watched Leprechaun Returns, the one that came out in 2019.
Oh wow.
Decent movie.
Yeah.
I was shocked. Like it's it's the first movie to use an actor from the first movie. Ozzy is in it.
Wow.
It's actually pretty good.
Did you ever keep watching Trailer Park Boys, Bri? Oh my god.
It's good, right?
I can't believe you put me on that the main trip and then you never watched it. I love that
I can
show.
pick it up. I'm on season 4.
Oh, so you're watching it. Like you have watched some of it. All right,
Yeah,
sorry.
I need to
off
get
track,
back onto it. I love the show. I got to get back on it.
but the bubble's decent. That's
Yeah.
what I had to ask.
Good show. But yeah, back here. I mean, this is where we are, right? This is where we are.
Yeah.
So
I came for the wedding, he says.
Yeah.
Let's fuck.
They're in this house. They're deciding whether or not to buy it. They're going to eventually buy it and live there.
Oh, this is the same house that they just
she's
moving back into.
She's super weird about it, and she goes up into the room where she had philanderous sex with her brother. Her husband's brother.
Not her brother.
Whoa. And she flashes back to when she met Frank, when Frank walked in and got him a towel, which obviously meant like his dick and her puss.
Yeah. I also like absolutely love that when they go upstairs for the sex scene, he doesn't like do anything sexy. He just whips out a knife.
Yeah.
And she's just like so into this knife.
Whips out the switchblade, yeah.
The first
Cuts
words he says is like, oh, good to know. Like, you're welcome to. She's like, welcome to the house. And he goes, yeah, good to know. Like, what a cocksucker. For first things to say when he.
Oh, God. It's like.
And then she's like, I'm in.
It's like, I get it. It's playing off like that bad boy stereotype where girls like bad boys, but this is taking it to a new level.
He's a violent
because he's not a bad boy. He's like he might be a serial killer.
Yeah.
Like,
well, they give him like the title sexual deviant in the plot line or whatever.
That's what he is, though.
Yeah.
Like,
should we reference like what really happened in the beginning of this movie? Because I feel like we glossed over the fact that
is he a Vietnam vet? Like, where was he?
I think he's a militant of some sort, but he gets this strange puzzle box from a man of the Orient.
A merchant. And his only merchandise is the box.
Yeah.
By the way, did you get the new Mortal Kombat yet?
It's really good.
I haven't gotten any.
It's like really good.
Yeah, it looks good.
But yeah, talking about now the guy in the shop, he's like, "What is your pleasure, sir?" Which I thought was a pretty good accent by me.
Yeah, that's it.
But that's going to be an ongoing thing where it's like the puzzle box is always gifted by a stranger to someone.
Well, he did pay a lot of money for it.
That's true.
Like, there's a stack of hundreds.
That's a good point. So Frank is just looking for the ultimate thrill ride.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
And you're going to get it, but he opens the box and you just see like him get... It says a pleasure and pain, but like you just mostly see him like absolutely get... hooked through different parts of his skin and then just ripped apart.
Torn apart.
And this is going back to your BDSM thing where it's like the idea is that the ultimate pain eventually turns into pleasure.
Yeah.
Yeah, because in all the movies, when they all come back or talk about it, like they're not trying to come back and be human. Like they're happy with what they've experienced.
I mean, it must be some sort of a state of euphoria you get.
Yeah. I think that's the idea. Yeah. But to your point in the very beginning of how easy the puzzle box is, it doesn't even seem easy. Like you have to literally like thumb that circle. Yeah. How is that obvious? So everybody knows how to do it.
I think the idea, and this is just actually going off of seeing all the movies now, is that it's not so much. It's the idea that you need to want it. You need to want what's in the puzzle box.
So no matter what you do.
Totally concur, and that's why I think when like Kirsty does it, it's a little different.
And that's why in the second one, when the girl does it in the insane asylum, they're like, they don't want the girl. They want the man who made the girl open it.
He has she doesn't have a desire like that desire that he had.
They need someone with a desire to open it, which is why I do think that they kind of wanted Kirsty just because she did want to open the box to see what it was.
Yeah. Well, they do go after her.
Yeah. I do. Yeah.
Never noticed the sex scene that they're on her wedding dress. Never noticed that before.
On the wedding dress, will do anything for him. At the same time, when they're moving stuff in, like right here, he's cutting his hand on a nail, and it's so insanely deep. And he's like, do you think I need to get stitches? And she goes, oh, we'll take you to the hospital. Like, he's got blood. He's like, I can't look at it. I'm going to die. Like, there's so much blood.
Back to him being like,
it kind of reminded me of like, when I got my lip injury. I'm like, do you think I need to go to the hospital? And you guys were like, you need to go now.
But he didn't. He
didn't say that.
He went home and had a ham sandwich first.
That's true. I did.
Then went.
Oh, yeah. That's very on
priorities.
It was the bloodiest ham. That was the condiment. Blood.
But the thing is, you would have to go to the hospital anyway because he 100% might have tetanus.
This is a mega infection that is going to keep bleeding. You need to either put something on that and you got to get that stitch because it is. Look at this. Yeah. Look at this wound. It is.
That's
open.
Deep. So he's going to bleed all over the attic floor.
Yep.
This is going to, in turn, revive Frank. I guess the idea is that Frank has become one with the house and that the blood revives Frank.
This is where he was killed.
Yes. So we actually start to see a beating heart form in the house, and then in an awesome practical effect resurrection, we see him slowly form into this like meat skeleton.
He's literally he's like a husk, like some kind of like weird like skeletal husk.
Yeah, it's actually really well done. Like I always say I miss when they did effects like this rather than like the CGI stuff, and like we could go all deep into how Disney's just using AI people now as extras.
I know, it's crazy.
Did you see?
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I have to show. There's
Oh man.
It was like, I think this is TV show that just came out. It was like Prom Pact or something like this. I saw a clip of it on Twitter, and it's literally in the front row is real people, but then the back row is AI generated people, and it's just like, it's so fake.
This is a show in a Disney show.
A Disney Plus show. It's actually eerie. I have to pull it up and find it.
That's
after this
bad.
episode. It's scary. And it's just like, man, we're just going so far. Apparently, they take people who were extras and then redigitalize them into AI so they don't have to repay them and use it that way.
That's like what Bruce Willis did, is like he sold his soul to like become an AI as
terrifying.
Since he can't
It's so
act
scary
anymore,
that's
yeah.
happening now.
But yeah, I mean, like, you ever see the AI photos that people like? They're not clean.
It's scary.
There's like extra fingers. Their eyes are the wrong way, and all that shit.
Wild. So anyway, okay. Frank has been resurrected.
Yes.
Eventually, Julia's going to go into the attic, and she's going to find skeleton Frank on the floor. And she's instantly going to believe everything the skeleton says.
Yeah.
It's me, Frank.
I also want to point out, human Frank is a really good actor.
Yeah.
He's really scary.
Yeah.
As a human.
A very creepy, like, he plays his character very well.
Very well.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Julia has to get people and bring them into the attic. And so what she basically does is she goes to the bar. She'll seduce a homeless man, bring him into the attic,
homeless man.
hit him with a hammer, and then Frank does this, like, sucking thing.
Sucks him off.
You have the remote. I just want to, like, can I skip as we get to those points? Is that allowed?
Yeah, no, we actually do it on Final Friday, so...
Because I would love to just visualize. Because I watched the beginning of I've seen this movie I think twice prior.
Yeah.
But I turned it on this morning just to have it in the background.
These effects are so good, which I believe what they do for this is they actually make these things and then melt them and then film reverse.
Yeah.
Okay. I was gonna go with like a stop motion. That was my guess.
So they might. This one also could be stop motion. I know for a fact
that looks like what you're talking about. 100%.
I know some of them they melt and then just reverse the footage and and that's how it
That's
goes.
cool. I didn't know. Yeah, I had never.
And it's like look how
guessed.
cool it looks.
Yeah.
Like this is what we always tell people: always watch the movies we review, especially the ones we like, because it's a lost art.
Yeah, it's a great product, not just a product of its time, but a great product of its time.
What is this? Amazon and Tubi again?
Amazon Tubi. Well, that's like we talked about this when we reviewed The Thing. The original Thing with all the practical effects, and then when you take that Thing prequel they did in 2011 with all that CGI, it's like crazy how much nicer a movie in the 80s can look than a 2011
It takes away from everything.
Because it just looks so fake sometimes.
Yeah.
Like when you're watching that, like you actually like you're like, oh my, that's like there, like that's gross. Like if I was there filming, I'm like, this is fucking disgusting.
Yeah, that's my one like Saw, the Saw films. I do actually might be the one set of movies that I have a tough time watching because of how real, like when you're drilling into his skull to like release the pressure of the blood in like whatever the third movie or whatever it is,
and it's all real.
It feels way too fucking real. But like here, I know it's not real because of how like old it is.
Yeah.
But there was so much more effort and like precision put into that. To your point, it's just.
Dude, like these movies, you're just like, all right, what's Tom Savini's number? Let's get some good shit in here. But yeah, so I mean, what do you guys want to talk about in terms of like, because I guess we should talk about what Kirsty's doing now during all of this, right?
Her name is Kirsty.
Kirsty?
Well, they have like
You're right, it is Kirsty.
They absolutely have a dinner.
Being a dick.
They do.
Then the dinner, she meets a guy.
Yeah.
Apparently that they like, and
a little boy.
a little boy.
Oh,
Yeah, they don't hit it off, the mother and the stepmother and her.
No, that's actually why Kirsty doesn't live with them, is because she hates the stepmother so much.
It sucks because Kirsty in the beginning of the movie, she comes in, she's like, "Oh, did you hear my dad? Did Daddy tell you I got a room?" Like she was trying to be super nice, like because her dad asked for that, and it was just like because of what she saw, what Julia saw already. Like there was just no chance of her acting normal.
Yeah,
it's like it could have, in a real world, they could have been a nice, step parent and child relationship, but
She's just so
Frank just had to fuck
so
things up.
captivated to Frank, and she can't say no to him.
Even skeleton Frank, she can't say no to.
Which is just fucking Frank. Oh my god.
She is totally like adheres to her previous obligations with Frank. Like she's gonna do anything for him.
Not obligations. Obligation.
Yeah, true. One time. My favorite Frank though is when he's like blood skeleton, but also wearing a suit.
Yes. Yes. Oh my god.
It is such a cool look.
It is.
Like, because it's a white shirt, so he's just like bleeding through the shirt.
Yeah.
And I'm like, because now he also mentions like he feels again and can taste. So it's like that's gotta sting.
Yeah.
Like when you have a cut and you put something on it, it stings. Imagine just being the blood skin.
Being a cut.
Yeah. You are the cut. Oh my god. Yeah.
It's a dream. Okay.
Yeah. So Kirsty's gonna start like kind of realizing things are off because one, she's gonna be followed by this homeless man because he's gonna be in like the animal shelter eating crickets in one scene.
Yes.
And, like, she's starting to have all these nightmares, so she knows things aren't on the up.
Things are a little weird for sure. Yeah.
Like, it's not normal. And then Julia, how many people would you say Julia brings up to the attic? Like 4 or 5?
Yeah.
Did I skip
it's like
one
4 or
already
5.
somehow?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I think it's coming up.
Because he's a lot more meaty, so I wasn't sure.
This whole, like, Julia's bringing people to sacrifice. The dad has no idea what's going on.
No.
And
Poor guy.
And Kirsty's just trying to,
put things together and figure it out.
So, yeah, the first person she meets is at the bar. Like we said, I think he's supposed to be British.
Yeah, this is the one where he comes on like really strong, and she like is backing off, and she's like, "Yeah, we fucking doing this?" She goes,
"Yeah."
All right, well, let's come upstairs, and she just bashes him in with a hammer.
I like how more comfortable she gets though as the movie goes on.
Oh yeah,
she's scared the first time, and then as it progresses, she's just beating people with a hammer.
It's just crazy how quick she was to accept the fact that she is going to kill to bring Frank back.
Yes,
yeah, she loves him.
Like and like, it's that whole thing. Like, why is she married to him? Because she, once it gets to the end, is instantly willing to sacrifice her husband to Frank.
Yeah.
And it's like, Frank doesn't actually care about her.
Oh, not at all. And even in the end, like when he accidentally kills her, he was just like, okay, well now I'm going to plunge it even deeper just to make sure you're dead.
Well, yeah, because he just finishes her off. Like, now my question though,
means to an end.
Why does she decay the way she does?
She decays right away, yeah.
Or does Frank suck someone for life force after the stab?
That's what I assume. Basically what I assumed is like he just needed even more blood. So just taking it
so like it was like she's already dead, might as well finish the job. So eventually what's going to happen is Kirsty at one point is going to catch Julia in the act. Mm-hmm. She's going to find the puzzle box. She's going to throw it through the window. She's going to go outside. She's going to grab the puzzle box. She's going to open the puzzle box. Cenobites are going to show up. And then Chatter is going to do this thing where he like kind of just like shoves his fingers like deep into her mouth.
Wait, are you talking about Kirsty?
Yeah.
Doesn't she get the box like early on when she has to?
Yeah, she throws it through the window.
She encounters the bloody version of
yes,
Frank. And she throws it to get away from him because he had it the whole time. He takes it. She takes it and throws it out the window and then like literally runs away with it.
But when she opens it, Chatterer literally just shoves his 2 fingers down her throat.
Yeah, well, she goes on a bender after that.
Yes, man.
Did she go on a bender and like wake up in a hospital?
Who?
Yes.
Yeah, that's the instant where she breaks out. She runs away and then she literally.
You're right. That does
wakes
happen.
up in a hospital.
Huh. Yeah, because she's covered in blood because Frank had grabbed her.
Yeah.
So when she passes out in front of those people, she does wake up in the hospital. And she opens the puzzle box in the hospital.
And that's when it opens and she goes to the portal of hell and she's chased by Ivan Ooze, a scorpion.
I think it's Skarner. From League of Legends mixed with Ivan Ooze.
Yeah, it's like an Ivan Ooze Skarner scorpion.
And it chases her back into the hospital, but then another door opens and that's when the Cenobites show up. And they're going to like really fuck her up until she's like, wait, you're missing Frank. And they're like, no one escapes.
Yeah, and then that's what they're like, no one escapes. Like, what do you mean? And she goes, oh no, Frank escaped.
Yeah.
He literally got brought back to life by the blood of his brother. He's alive.
So, Scott, you bartering with these Cenobites? You gonna give up Frank?
I think they said that. I think they said that if you don't bring back Frank, like they
would take you.
They would take her soul. So she had to give them Frank.
100%.
Yeah, no one likes Frank.
And she offered it up too. She's like, yeah, I'll get you him.
I mean, I would have. Granted, though, would you trust these guys? You know, these guys in leather and skin missing and pins in their head. And one girl with emphysema.
That's the tough part with emphysema. Sorry, we're just watching the kill scene of the first victim.
I hate that. I hate when they hammer the mouth because then the teeth are missing.
Yeah,
brutal.
That hurts.
Well, that's like in the movie we just did last week, Terrifier 2.
Yeah, that's a brutal one.
I did just watch that, but I can't remember.
The opening scene with the coroner, he chisels the guy's teeth out.
Oh, God.
Pretty much. That's like watching fucking
It's
Old
like
Boy.
mini mallet. Oh, my God, yeah.
You ever see Old Boy, Scott?
No.
Old Boy is not a horror movie.
Oh, it's a good movie, though. It is
one of the best movies ever made.
It really is.
Don't watch the American one. Watch the Japanese one from like the 90s or maybe 01.
Okay.
It's 01.
It's 01, right? There's a scene where he's trying to get his revenge and figure stuff out, and he takes a hammer, but he takes the back part of the hammer and puts it on the tooth and rips the teeth out until the guy tells him the information he needs.
That's like my nails ripping off and my teeth being ripped out, or like my like nightmare.
I think they're Korean. Like those two movies I would recommend are like Old Boy
and I Saw the Devil.
I Saw the Devil. They're just so fucking crazy.
Neither are technically horror. I think they're both labeled thriller.
Old Boy's better, but like the other
I Saw the
one,
Devil's really good though.
It's just right under.
Audition's another one I always would
Audition.
recommend.
Yeah, they make some good movies.
A Tale of Two Sisters.
The Host. Was it the Priest? The one that we saw? Do you remember the Priest?
Oh wait, the Priest.
See what I'm talking about? Like the Priest is like becomes like a vampire.
Oh, Thirst.
Thirst. Yes.
Oh,
Scott. When we get off the air, I'm gonna probably give you like 7 to 10 like Asian horror movies or thriller movies you should 100% watch. They're probably like, for a podcast that hasn't touched any of them, some of my favorite movies.
It's true. It's very true.
We got to get to that.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's get back to our movie. Frank's just, taking people's bodies.
It's where you find a little bit more backstory here for the pain and the pleasure.
Yeah. Well, that's what I know what Kirsty's going to learn, like kind of stuff. You don't actually get a lot of backstory. That's more so in the second one.
I was going to say, I can't remember exactly what was in the second one, so I don't want to say anything until you do.
The second one is just as good as this movie.
We mainly just learned that like this, you open the puzzle box, the Cenobites come out, they show you pain, mix it with pleasure until it becomes one. That's the main thing. And that's why when you open the puzzle box though, you technically become a Cenobite over time. I guess Frank wasn't there long enough, and that's why he was able to escape. Because, like, I know, like, in the next one, someone's going to open the puzzle box and instantly become a Cenobite. Yeah. So, the doctor.
Yeah.
This
is the scene next where, like, she tries to bring him upstairs. He's already in the suit, like you said. But I think this is the scene where he brings her up. Like he's like, this usually makes you sick. Why are you watching this? She's like, I'm going to go upstairs. She's like, not only were you just upstairs, I'm now going to go upstairs and follow you.
Yes. So that's where the husband gets killed, I believe, right? Because this is where like Frank's going to kill the husband and take his skin suit. And it leads to...
Well, is that the scene, or do they actually go up there, have sex?
Oh, yeah.
And he watches them. But that happens soon after.
It does. You're right. There's the whole sex scene where Frank's, like, judging her, I guess.
Yeah.
Frank's that guy where he's, like, he wants him to be the only guy while also fucking everyone.
Yeah, so I don't think... Right, it comes soon, but it's not this specific scene.
That's right. He hides in the closet. Yeah.
So, Kirsty... We'll go back to Kirsty. Once she talks to the Cenobites and she realizes she got to get Frank and whatever, she's going to run back home and, like, ask for her dad. Like, where's my dad? Where's my dad?
And then and they never show it, but you do know that our friend Frank has already killed him.
This is the thing, and this was one of my issues with this movie, and I don't have many, but the dad is clearly a skin suit because there's blood like all over the head, the back of the head, and it's like clearly someone wearing her dad's skin. But Kirsty doesn't realize it at first. Eventually, she's gonna scratch her dad because he's saying all those Frankish things, like
Frankish.
I can't think of because he basically just keeps calling her like. He's like, come to daddy.
Yeah,
that's
his thing.
Come to daddy.
He says, come to daddy, like earlier in the movie. And then she knows that Frank says that or something.
There's like,
or she knows her dad doesn't
I feel like
that.
there's almost a hidden subplot of like Frank molesting Kirsty when she was younger.
Maybe.
I don't know. Just the way he talks to her.
Yeah, maybe.
It just throws that vibe.
A little creepy vibe, yeah.
Yeah, but she's going to realize that Frank is wearing her dad's skin. We're going to get to the whole like, Julia's holding Kirsty, so Frank can give her that last little stab. Kirsty's going to move. Julia's going to get stabbed.
Yeah. And this is, like you said, like her face is just like everything gets like decayed. I think he's still trying to like suck that blood out real quick. That's why it's like so like discolored and like looking like it's like lacking the color.
Yeah. Well, she like all the blood like drains from her body, like you said.
Yep.
Trying to get to that. Trying to catch up.
Yeah, no,
you're good. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, you don't have to worry about it.
I know, but
so
and this is how she was able to track that her even like that her or Julia was doing this because she tracks this guy back.
Oh, yeah. So this is the first
Encounter.
of her, realizing what's happening.
So once Julia has been stabbed, Kirsty runs up to the attic, right, to escape Frank.
Yep.
But once Frank catches up to her, the Cenobites show up.
Yep, they show up in the in that room
in the attic
originally, with the blue lights that are coming out of it. And he knows exactly what's up. And yeah.
Well, doesn't Frank say it's like you sold me out, or like he's like you trade like
Yeah. As if like he has a right to be pissed.
Exactly.
So I love this scene. The scene's sick. It's probably gonna be my Necronomicon call for the movie.
Oh my god, where the hooks go into the dad's skin. It's like ripping his face.
They got Frank, who's dressed up as the father's skin because they put his skin over his face, and he just basically says Jesus wept, and it just like gets ripped apart in a really cool scene. It's quick, and then Kirsty's out of there. But like you said, now like kind of like she opened the puzzle box. They're kind of like after her.
Yeah, they go back on their trade. To be fair, don't trust demons from hell.
Yeah,
is the moral of that story.
I mean, it wasn't her intention, but like she opened it. She ran away from the weird demon in there, and
but she does have the puzzle box,
and she's knows how to correctly put them back into the puzzle box, or like back
easiest puzzle box. Like I said, the puzzle box just goes off of vibes.
What is it called? The lament configuration.
The lament configuration. Yeah, which I think you learn the name in like the third one or something like that.
Whenever you learn about the toy maker.
Yeah.
And all that, yeah.
So that's just how it's gonna go.
I'm way behind.
Yeah, no, she gets all of them.
Yes. The boyfriend's going to show up to try to help her, too.
Yeah.
And he's like, this looks bad. Maybe we should leave this house that's collapsing.
House collapses. It's just about time. This house has just been pure evil.
Yeah, and like Brian said, she moved the configuration so each demon went back into the box. So they're all taken care of. They actually get out of the house.
They get out of the house. Isn't it interesting how sometimes like the box is like autonomously going? Like she has to configure it to stop it because it keeps going.
Box has a mind of its own.
But... and they mentioned like she did solve the puzzle box. They said it before, but after they're done, they walk and she basically takes the box and puts it in like a burning fire to try to get rid of it.
Yeah.
Except that she notices the guy that's been following her with the beard walks through the fire, grabs the box, does not get burned. Actually, instead, his real form is some kind of demonic bird.
Yeah, that was great.
I loved it. Obviously, a demon from hell has been following her the whole time, wanting the box. So he takes it and flies away. And that's literally...
I believe he brings it back to Vietnam.
Yeah.
He
does because that same seller, that magician guy, has it, and he's already selling it to somebody else.
He's probably also like a demon or something.
Yeah, probably.
What is your pleasure, sir?
What is your pleasure?
Yeah, and if I'm not mistaken, the second movie... that building, is it the building from the second movie that is built like right where the house, or wherever that was?
I believe so.
Yeah.
Yes. I do like in the second movie too, you get a lot of backstory to Pinhead and like how it all started, or at least how he started.
It kind of sucks because like even though you get that background of him, it kind of just like gets tossed to the side after that.
And it's a real shame because it's really interesting. And one thing we haven't even talked about really is how Doug Bradley is so good as Pinhead.
So good. Even in this movie.
It makes me so
phenomenal.
So upset that like he's not all of them, but I get it.
Because like what works for Pinhead is he doesn't talk much.
Yes.
But when he does,
it's impactful.
Yes.
It's like he's very descriptive with his words. He's very creepy, and I can see like why that was like such a pinnacle character, even in a movie where he's not even credited as Pinhead, although the subtitles have him as Pinhead.
That's my problem with like recasting of characters, and obviously like this is a series that spanned multiple decades. So they did that with Pinhead, where he gets someone new, and then I feel like right when there was someone new, they started talking a lot as Pinhead.
Yes.
And that ruined it. I had the same issue with Dumbledore. Obviously, like, the first one, he passed away, and that you can't do anything about that. But they made it very obvious that it was a new Dumbledore because I feel like he had a lot more speaking lines.
Yes.
And that was the fourth movie that he came in.
So,
and there was, like, one more example, but I can't remember.
no,
But
well, I like that you brought that up. It's actually a great point because it goes to why Doug Bradley stopped being Pinhead is he hated the script.
Oh.
And in all the other, like not in this one, but I believe it was starting around 3 or 4, they allowed him to mainly write his lines for Pinhead.
Okay.
Like not all of them, but he had a big input of what his character would say. He's like, because they felt he knew the character now and he could like not overdo it. And I think that's why it worked so well because it was short, it was sweet, and he just got the point across. Then in 9, they want him to do all this other stuff. He's like, this isn't the character. So he just declined.
I love this scene too when they actually walk in and they're like, "I want the man who did this." She doesn't know that the father is actually Frank, and she's like, "No, you're not getting my father."
Yeah, that's right.
Realizing the father's the carcass on the floor.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but yeah. So I mean,
he's like, "Come to daddy."
Yeah.
This is a series we gotta definitely talk more about. Like, I want to get to the next couple movies.
I feel strongly about the first 3.
Me too.
Yes.
People criticize the third. I like the third.
I do too. I think the first 2 are very strong movies.
Fourth is absolute of an abomination.
Two is the little girl.
I think 5 and 6 get better.
5 and 6 are good.
Yeah.
I've never watched past 6, by the way, but 5 and 6 were good. 4 is an abomination.
So what? So 2 is the little girl. What was 3?
The nightclub.
3 is New York City.
With like the boyfriend that like he buys the thing.
Yes.
The giant statue.
Yes.
I like that one.
4's in
space. Yeah, 4's in space.
But then you learn about the toy makers. Like it's a great
I like
background
certain
story
aspects
movie.
of it.
Yeah, I
just-
fuck with that. They're not in space like very often, like for
I know,
much.
but they're kind of in space. There's literally a puzzle box in space.
Yeah, it's like the begin. It's like the first part of the movie and the last part.
And mouse shit. Great lines. Yeah, this movie is pretty fucking awesome. I'm not gonna lie.
It is.
And so then going on, I guess we could say 5 and 6 and the rest. 5, 6, 7, and 8 did not start as Pinhead scripts. They started as scripts for other movies, and then they're like, let's just attach Pinhead to them.
5,
What?
5 is the one with the guy that's
The
getting
detective.
he's getting all those weird visions and like premonitions and shit. If I'm not
He's the detective, and he's
Yeah.
looking for a killer. 6 is the one where Kirsty comes back in 6, and her husband or boyfriend tried to murder her, and then that's the whole story there.
God, I watched them all like so closely together that I don't even.
7 is about the Deader cult, and they have they're a cult that's found out how to cheat death through the puzzle box.
Yes, I remember that.
8 is the video game movie with Liam Hendrickson and Henry Cavill.
Yeah. Yes.
9 is incest. 10 has an arbiter, and 11 is a remake. So
Yep.
11 takes like that video game movie, a lot of factors from that, like with the house
it's
and the
wild.
party.
It's all absolutely wild.
The remake I thought was great. Like it was a good
It's
movie.
much better than the ones previous.
It takes all the important pieces that you need to make a good Hellraiser movie, except they made Pinhead a chick.
To be fair,
kinda.
I believe in the original book it was.
Yeah.
Pinhead is like ambiguous. They don't specifically say boy or girl.
Yeah, that's kind of what I figure. Like none of
He's
these.
supposed to just be a demon.
Yeah,
Like,
I think
they don't-
Cenobites are all supposed to
Yeah.
be non.
gender.
Binary.
Yeah. So I guess that's it. I guess I could give my actual rating. I'm actually, for this one, I'm going to give it a 7. I think
Yeah.
it's a really strong foundation. And I think like thinking about it, I think I like the second one more. I think the second one's my favorite of the series.
Second one's good too.
But this movie, I mean, it's an iconic 80s staple horror. Like, if you like horror movies, like, there's no way you can't watch Hellraiser.
I feel like this movie tried to, because there's so many, like, I think at this point, like, Halloween 4 was about to be made. Like, Fridays were probably up to, like, way past.
At this point, Friday's almost to 8, I think.
So I think they tried to change up what a horror movie, what to expect from one. Making it different, and I definitely think they did a good job with it. Like I said, I think there's some scenes that are a little ambiguous, but like if you read between the lines, strong performances from everybody. It's really just a fun movie. I really enjoyed it and how different it was. And like the Cenobites, I know you don't get a lot of information here, but the story does build them up great as the sequels come. I really enjoyed it. I also have it as a hot 7.
Yeah, hot 7. I like hot 7.
Yeah, I'm going to land this at a 7 as well. A lot to be desired, but great, like you said, foundation. It started the series off strong. Do you call it a cult classic? Because there's like 11 of them, but
it is a cult classic.
Yeah,
I would say at least the first couple.
The first Hellraiser is just like body horror fandom. It's phenomenal. Like the characters are iconic.
Unique.
They're creepy.
Idea.
Pinhead costume. Like I said, I had the mask in the 3rd grade. It gave me hives.
Oh, did it? I missed that part. Yeah, it's a unique idea. Like it was, to your point, like Friday the 13th, Nightmare. Like those are all coming out. This was closer to what's that fucking movie? With the kid, and they all turn into like a giant orgy, and they're like one alien thing.
Society?
Yeah. In terms of the body horror.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yes.
It's closer to Society. It's not like so much a slasher or anything. That's
what I mean.
It's very
special.
unique.
It's not a slasher.
It's not a slasher.
Yeah, it's definitely not a slasher.
Until the 8th one, where Pinhead uses a meat cleaver to kill someone.
That's kind of actually wild.
Yeah, it's crazy.
You have the box. Like you have these characters. It's all so new.
You have the skin pillar.
The skin pillar, which is also like part of just as iconic. I feel like
so
as the
great.
box.
I just love it. I even love these corny special effects. Like, I love everything about it.
That was pretty bad.
I really do.
But it's part. That's again part of the time.
I just love it.
So what was your rating?
I'm going with 7 as well.
So all right, we're all going in the 7s. All right, Necronomicon. I think we're all because like not many people die truthfully in a Hellraiser. Kind of wild to say.
A lot of the guys that she brought in.
Yeah, it's the guy she brought in.
Like, do you count Frank?
Well, I'm actually counting Frank twice. Frank dies at the beginning and Frank dies at the end. And my choice is Frank at the end.
Frank at the end when he is
the skin suit.
Yeah, 100%. When he's just ripped apart.
Yeah, he gets ripped apart twice at the beginning and the end. But I like the end ripped apart better.
I just like the way that was shot. So
yeah, because everyone else who dies in the movie is either Julia, which nothing special. And then all the hammer guys, which the effects of the first hammer guy is awesome, but I think Frank makes more sense.
Yeah, I could.
Can we put this guy's fucking shirt in the Necronomicon?
Yo, that is a bad shirt.
That's a tough shirt.
Yeah.
Okay. Frank, you are the worst person I've ever seen on film that wasn't like an actual serial killer.
You are so mean.
You went to your brother's wedding, then disappeared, then showed up unannounced at his house strictly to sleep with his wife. I actually don't think he showed up for any other reason other than that.
Was it before or after?
It was before because he says he was at the wedding. So it was after, because he says he was at the wedding. Okay. And then he shows up. He's like, you might remember me. I was at the wedding. I'm Frank.
Frank.
He's
brother Frank. He makes sure to say.
He's just such a horrible person.
Brother Frank
says that.
So should we just say Brother Frank is in the Necronomicon? Not even Frank?
Brother Frank.
Like Brother Frank.
Like he's some sort of man of the cloth or something.
Jesus. Welcome to the Necronomicon, Brother Frank. This is sad. October is over. The favorite month of the year is finally done.
Spooky season coming to an end.
It's not like we don't have cool things coming up, though.
No, we have really cool things coming up. Like next week, we're getting a little sexier with our horror.
I feel like this is a movie that is just so long overdue.
Yeah.
That when we review it next week, people are gonna be like,
You didn't do that yet?
Yo, how'd you not do this back in like 20 when you started this podcast?
We're doing Get Out.
Yep.
All right.
The Jordan Peele's first directorial movie, Get Out.
Especially since we did Us like 2 years ago.
We did Get Out. It was like the 30th movie or the 31st movie that we reviewed.
We did Us long ago.
Both great films.
They are both great films. I always had a hard time deciding which one I liked more. I think I like Us more, but you can go either way.
Yeah, they're both great. I haven't seen Nope yet still.
I have seen Nope.
Neither.
It is significantly not as good as the other two, but still
good.
Fun to watch because it's about like a sci-fi element. It's a little, it's definitely intrigued there.
All right. Well, now that we'll have Us and Get Out reviewed, we could probably get Nope on the schedule at some point.
Yeah, I would like that.
Just wrap up the Jordan Peele horrors.
Yep.
So obviously, Scott, if you're ever interested in anything else, and by interested in anything else, I mean we have you on an episode in January. I can't wait to get to that January episode.
Actually, me neither, if I'm being honest.
You're going to have to remind me what that is.
I'm not going to say it on air, but I'll remind you off air because
Yeah.
that's too much of a spoiler because this is one me and Brian have wanted to do for a long time.
Sweet. I'm glad I
So.
get to be a part of that.
Yeah, you've seen it already.
Okay. So I'm really excited for this episode. Can't wait. I'm going to have a great time talking about that movie.
Exactly. So we are the final podcast signing off, and we will see you next week. Get out. Just get out. Get out.
We're going to see you
Get
in the house.
Get out. It's like, that's Andre. New episodes of the final podcast every Monday. Feel free to check out our YouTube. Please give us a subscribe. 5-star on Apple Podcasts, 5-star on Spotify. Follow all our social medias. You'll find us on the Final Podcast and Instagram. And I want to say Instagram and Facebook. And Final Pod ever on Twitter, I believe.
We got Threads.
I don't even know what that means.
Oh, that's the Twitter, not Twitter, the Instagram version of Twitter. Threads.
Oh,
Sorry, the Instagram version of X.
Oh, true. Sorry.
Yeah, I'm still on Twitter.
I'm going to X you. I'm not going to tweet. I'm going to X you.
Fine. Also, check out Final Friday every Friday for low-budget horror fun with our co-host, Mike G. That's always a good time.
Love you, Mike.
We'll see you then.